Steve Bell, resident analyst with TU-Automotive, and I am here at TU Europe, and we are talking with Fabian Kuhn, Director of Global Accounts for Giesecke and Devrient, or GD Mobile Security.
That's correct.
Welcome.
Steve. Thank you very much.
So, this morning there was a large focus on connectivity in the vehicle and the challenges with doing connectivity. Robert Langter talked about the fact that the car had at least 10 major issues associated with getting connectivity going, which I think you listened to as well, right?
I did.
So one of the challenges that surfaced is eSIM. So what are you guys doing? Because you're big in eSIM, right? What are you doing?
So it's correct. We're very big in eSIM. We're actually one of the first ones in the market providing those solutions. So G&D is coming from an area where a large customer base of us is mobile network operators that do have SIM cards, and we're providing those SIM cards to the market. And the next logical step going to the automotive sector was, of course, providing automotive grade solutions, means SIM cards that fit into that purpose, for example, for eCall, for connectivity services that are embedded into the car. And the next step from there on was, of course, to be able to manage those cards. So really providing eSIM management solutions together with the eSIMs in order that the OEMs are able really to manage those SIMs in the field and do updates, online services, or provide online service and additional features for the convenience of the users, but also leveraging the security for the OEM side itself.
So the eSIM is managed by the OEM and not by the mobile operator. Is that the premise of that?
It is moving to that direction, actually. So there are a couple of customers of ours that do have their own eSIM management system, which is a managed service hosted by G&D Mobile Security. And currently there's still a lot of OEMs still using the eSIM management solutions that are provided or offered as a service by the MNOs. So it's a shift in that paradigm. It used to be MNOs offering those services. It's moving more and more into the area that the OEM wants to own the SIM card. They want to be the one being able to decide who is going to be the MNO that is going to reside on the eSIM and when is going to be a shift, and also be more flexible in terms of the market legislations in different countries coming up where specific profiles are required, local profiles, for example. Taking Brazil as an example, cars go into that country and then you need to have a local profile from a local mobile network operator. And in order to have a streamlined production, they just have one box, and then the management solution behind it pushes a new profile into the car and provides the connectivity.
So what is there? Is there a resistance to the adoption of the eSIM from the automotive manufacturers, or are they embracing it?
It's a very good question. It's not really the... let's rephrase. So it's on the one hand the OEMs that really enter a new market. We heard it today in the morning in one of the keynotes that you just mentioned. One of the issues is, of course, that there's a new market now opening up for the OEMs, which is the whole connectivity part. But now the OEM wants to enter in that market and wants to understand that market and wants to provide or let's say leverage his own offerings and also the user experience to really make it much easier for the user or the car owners in the end to have those solutions. But it's a new market, and the OEMs they used not to really fully understand that market. They're coming more from the mechanical point of view, and now it's going to the connectivity world. So G&D Mobile Security is there. It's like kind of the trusted anchor point. On the one hand, having the knowledge of the eSIM part and the knowledge of the MNO market, but also the knowledge now of the OEMs. So we're also providing consultancy services to the OEMs, to the Tier 1 suppliers also that need to build the solutions around that for the OEMs, in order that you have a fit solution for that market.
So one of the other things that you've been introducing, I think, is the dual SIM, dual SIM, dual active. What does that mean? Because it sounds sort of like dual.
It's actually, Steve, it's exactly that. So you have basically in the car two SIM cards or two eSIMs embedded. That's the scenario. And it's actually two aspects actually that make it interesting for the OEM to build such a solution. On the one hand, it's a lot of user experience that you gain for your own customer base because you have now, on the one hand, the eSIM that is already embedded into the car, providing the services, connectivity services, traffic information, real-time traffic information, but also connected services and e-call systems. But on the other hand, the user that drives the car, he has his own data plan. So he has a smartphone, he has his connected services data plan already with his MNO hooked up. He pays a monthly fee for that one. So he wants to have his own data being also used in the car. Means he wants to use Spotify or for, let's say, other passengers, ideally not for the driver, offer additional services like Netflix, like YouTube, streaming directly inside of the car, but taking those data plans he has already. So there are scenarios like shared data managers. We have different costs involved in that one, but it's always additional costs to subscription that you already pay actually as a consumer. So the idea here is you have on the one hand the eSIM that is already there with providing the services for the OEM. It's always online, and you have another eSIM embedded into the car that you can now use to download your own profile, or basically kind of a copy of the profile. It's not a real copy from a technical point of view. To the car. It means that you have now basically two SIM cards, one in the smartphone and the other one in the car, that work together. And now you can choose, for example, also to call through the car directly, or stream through the car directly with the same data side. That's from the consumer experience, fantastic. But also has a very large advantage actually for the OEM itself. And one of the things now with the shielding in the newer cars going on, so they're more and more shielded from the connectivity. So if you have a normal smartphone connected via Bluetooth to the car, it's difficult now to really get a very good connection, and in the future it's getting worse and worse. So the idea here is really to use the external antenna of the car, but don't use any plug-in solutions or something like that, but you just have the car, you have your profile transferred to the car, to a second SIM card, and it uses the whole infrastructure of the car. It means the whole modem, the antenna, the external antenna. You have a fantastic reception, and you have also for the OEM still the possibility to use the online services, and the consumer has the fantastic option to use his own data plan and be flexible. It means in terms of it's not something attached to the car owned by me, but it could also be my partner that also wants to drive the car. He enters the car, it's automatically changing the subscription to the one that he already has downloaded to the car.
So how does I mean, does it activate because you're in the driver's seat? If you've got two people walking into the car, one's on the passenger side, one's on the driver's side, but they both used the car previously, how does the car know which profile to take?
That is something that really can be decided by the OEM, how they want to enable that one for the consumer side.
Experience.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really decided by the consumer or the driver itself what kind of preferred profile he would like to use. Could be the owner's profile is always #1 profile or something like that. But it's something that can be just turned on and adjusted.
Does it take long to recreate the profile on the dual action SIM? I mean, is it a 5-minute thing, or is it instantaneous?
It's in between that. It's very fast actually. So you go into the car, you connect to the car, and the enablement of that one. That's something that the OEM itself can decide how they want to do it, with a barcode, with a code that needs to be entered.
Right.
But the transfer and the download over the air from the subscription management server to the car itself is quite fast. The enablement as well, so it's a kind of a thing of a very few minutes that you have everything set up. It's, I would say, something like 2 minutes only, but it's because there's some processes involved in that one. But that's it. You only do this once the next time you don't have to do it anymore. So it's only this one-time process.
So there is this recognition that the phone is important to the consumer, and clearly you're transferring data into the car or the profile. So you're not using the battery on the phone as much because you're using the infrastructure of the car.
Correct.
Right? So Bluetooth isn't enabled and all of that. But equally, you're also talking about using the phone as a digital key for the car as well, right?
Correct. So this is the second step that creates a much more user experience and comfort actually. So that you have use your smartphone and have the security and the protection inside of the smartphone to securely access the car. Means that you have your key downloaded to the smartphone, and you can access that one directly via opening with the smartphone. This goes, for example, through your connectivity via Bluetooth. It's everything fully secured. And the advantage here is that you can enable others as well to drive with your car. This is especially going to the car rental or car sharing services at some point. Could be a very high value and very high interest actually, because you're very flexible. You can deploy a key from one person or from one smartphone to the other one. You can determine a specific length of time where this key is valid. So it means only through the weekend you're able to access that car, and afterwards it's not active anymore and you don't have the possibility to access their one. And once it's enabled, the initial processing to have it personalized to your smartphone, it's also quite quick. I guess this could be one of the next questions about the time of that it takes. This is also a rather quick solution that is done. Once you have it transferred and the keys there, you have the full flexibility. You can immediately open up the car, close the car, turn it on and off the engine as well. Right. So that's a very flexible system, but it's...
so in a rental car situation, for instance, the actual key will be in the vehicle, but you'll be able to open the rental vehicle with your phone.
Not necessarily, actually. So it could be one scenario, but the other scenario could be the key resides actually within the car rental company itself. So when you go to the counter and you first up or you rent a car, you basically sign up for all the contracts, for the details, and then the person at the counter actually just deploys the key over the air to your smartphone. So you just need to enter this your telephone number, and that's it. And then you get the key automatically deployed over the air to your smartphone for the specific rental time that you have agreed via contract.
Great. It was going to speed everything up for me, which is great.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Fabian. Really appreciate the
Thank you very much, C, for being here.
Thank you.